And as for other managers, mate, he's had his 5 minutes, so let's move on. We just allowed, a very good team to take control of the game, and in what was, like you said, a big night for the club, big night for our supporters, and a big opportunity for us. We just didn't really handle it really well. We went out there sort of way too conservative in our approach, and we kind of paid a price for that. I think we stayed in the game for, I mean, it was only 1-0 at half time, so we're still well in the tie, but I never sensed like we really, had that sort of intent to go out there and try and win the game. It was almost like trying to hold on, and that just doesn't work.
Obviously, it's a big game at the weekend. Some fans feel like the season hinges on this game. Is that how you see it?
No, because then we've got other games afterwards. Look, once again, I just don't think about what I do in those senses. People will always try and sort of create a scenario where there's some sort of dramatic event, and the reality is, say we win Sunday, what does that mean? We can go in against Manchester United the following week and just say, well, that we've won the biggest game of the year, so that's okay. No, it doesn't. I don't believe that, but I get why people sort of talk in that manner, because it means that if we're not successful, okay, well, geez, what does that mean? What does that mean for the manager? What does that mean for the team? What does that mean for the season? So I get that people want the drama around that, but the reality is that we've got an important game Sunday that we want to win to stay in the competition, and then we've got an important game the following Sunday. So nothing is season defining until you get to the end.
We talk about the lack of intensity, and quite a few of the critics latched onto lack of fight or lack of fire, or however you want to term it, from last night. Is that a natural part of the same players running on empty? Is that what it is, or is it different?
Look, I think it's a combination of both. One is just that mindset to go out there and sort of play without fear and take on the challenge rather than sort of go out there and try and survive. But, at the same time, the players, we're asking a lot of this group of players continually backing up, and, there's a physical but also a mental toll that takes. So, my job is to try and sort of eliminate that from their thought process. The sort of bizarre thing about it is we ended up doing more running last night than the opposition. So it's not like by playing that way you conserve energy. But sometimes in your mind you think, if we go out there and press really aggressively and really play at a high tempo, high intensity, will we be able to last? Now, like I said, we've outrun the opposition, but that's because we were chasing the ball most of the night and we were so passive in our approach. So it's about trying to, sort of educate the players on, even when we are sort of asking a lot of them from a physical perspective, it's much more efficient to take on the opposition than to kind of, like I said, try and survive out there or try and sort of save what energies you have for important moments.
And I think we've seen, without pretending I know the intricacies of it, you're playing deeper on the pitch. You're not pressing the other half like you want to do, like you did. Again, is that something that's just a natural consequence of having a different back four, having different people, having them?
Yeah, some of it. Yeah, some of it is. It's a combination of these things. It doesn't help when we're constantly changing. But like I said, I think last night, I think we kind of, and look, I always think with these things, well, it's easy for me to sit here and sort of say we did this and we didn't do that, but then you're kind of self-reflective and say, well, what sort of information did I give the players before the game? How did I prepare them for what's ahead? And maybe there was some underlying messages that they got around sort of, we're 1-0 up, we've got to limit Liverpool, we've got to be strong defensively because they're such a good side. But I think that just sort of feeds into kind of the game they want to play. Now that wasn't the way I sort of framed it, but you're kind of going, well, why the players sort of take that message out there that, you know, somehow us holding out Liverpool was going to be the way to do it last night. That's certainly not the way I thought we would have a chance of success. And like I said, we we could have gone out there and pressed them and still lost the game. That's a very real possibility because they're a very good side and they're in a good moment. But at least if we did that, we'd say, okay, well, you know, we tried to do what we're good at, and it didn't work. We can learn from that. I don't think there's a lot we can learn from last night in terms of our football. There's a lot we can learn about how we handle the situation.
Yeah. Yeah, just relate to that. Deep down, all your players believe they could win last night.
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't they? There's no reason why you should go out there not believing you can't win any game of football, but certainly against a team that we beat, you know, a month ago. So yeah, of course they believed it.
Just pick up on what you're talking about, the gap with Liverpool and taking all the players you've got out. Once you've got the whole squad back, if that ever happens, how big do you think the gap is between Tottenham and Liverpool?
Look, that's hard to say because that's kind of, you know, like I said, will that ever happen? And you know, is there a moment in time where you can measure that? But because it's not just getting the players back, it's also getting the players back and getting them to a level that, you know, it's not like they're going to come back after 2 or 3 months out, some of them, and sort of hit the levels they want. But you know, at least we then have an opportunity to match it against teams from a, you know, even in terms of changing the game mid-course. I mean, substitutions, you know, we're kind of, at the moment, we're really hampered in what we can do because, you know, we've got sort of youngsters on the bench that I don't really want to expose to that kind of environment. So I don't think it's about sort of us measuring ourselves against Liverpool. It's about us kind of assessing, you know, where we're at when we've got a sort of a more robust sort of squad that can deal with what we're dealing with.
It's like asking you about the belief of the players. Do you have belief in the character of the players?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Again, like I said, it's really easy. People can sit back and, you know, in the comfort of their sort of surroundings and say, oh, look, they're not trying, or, you know, they lack fight or they lack character, but that's not what I see. And as I keep saying, you know, maybe it would have been better off if we weren't in the semi-final and we had a week off and preparing for an FA Cup on Sunday, and people would look at us differently. But the fact is, we got to a semi-final. These players worked really hard to get there. We didn't have an easy road to get there. We had a disappointing night last night for sure. But no, I don't question the character or the determination of the players to continue on and try and bring success.
And on that, a lot of clubs don't win trophies. Only a handful of teams have won the domestic cups in this country in the last decade. But why do you think Spurs do seem to get so much stick for this?
Oh, look, I can't talk about it historically. At the moment, like I said, we're an easy mark at the moment because there's kind of inconsistency in our play, and you know, everyone's sort of saying that, you know, I'm making excuses about, you know, injuries and all that kind of stuff. So, and it's kind of easy with the club obviously not having won a trophy in a long time for, you know, people to, like I said, pile on at the moment.
That's the case with a lot of clubs.
Yeah, it is. But I think, you know, I don't know. Look, that's something probably for you guys to reflect more than me. I've only been here a short time, but it does feel like, you know, there's very much an eagerness to kind of, you know, take the club down for one reason or another when the opportunity exists. Now, at the moment, we're giving him that opportunity after last night with our league form, but, you know, as I said before, I think that can't chart our way forward. That can't be our motivation, you know, trying to sort of change people's opinions who obviously have formed these opinions over a long time.
Do you think you're an easy target as well, but with your sort of the way you play, your background, people sort of jump into kind of...
Again, I think that would fall in the trap of me kind of reacting to this stuff. You know, it is what it is. Like you know, you have to look. I think after a night like last night, whatever comes our way, whether it's to me or to the club, we just got to keep our counsel, understand that it's an easy moment for people to sort of drag you down and deal with it in the best possible way. And that is to do your job, focus on the next challenge, and find a way to get to where we want to.
It does feel like the team could look very different. I think could be kind of transformed in a couple of weeks. But with respect to if the team loses a bit this weekend, would you expect to still have that time to be in charge in 2 or 3 weeks when all these players are back?
Me personally, I mean, that doesn't really enter my headspace. Again, and I get that. That's obviously a massive topic of discussion because when things aren't going well, you kind of look at the person who's largely responsible for that, and that's me. So it is what it is. You just got to get on. It doesn't change the decisions I make or how I feel or how I work today or how determined I am to continue on this path. But right now, the focus is on getting this group of players recovered for Sunday, big game Sunday, and hopefully get a positive result. And then, as I said, over the next couple of weeks, we'll get some significant players back, which I think will help the playing group. No, Mickey probably, like I said, it's going to be a bit of a slow burn. The ones who are definitely close are guys like Vicario, Destiny, Wilson Odeberg, Matters, Brennan at a stretch. They should all be back in the next sort of either midweek next week in terms of training or the week after, but over the next 2 weeks they should all be available.
Thank you.
John, and then finish with Don, please.
You've listed all the players that are absent, and it seems that the list is as long as it is in February as it was in January and December, November. Is there a fear, though, that the fans, or a portion of the fans, have just simply stopped listening to this? I mean, we've had a manager say that, I'm not Ange Postecoglou, I don't hide behind injuries, or he did apologise for it. Is that part of this narrative that we've been sucked into and it's difficult to get out of now?
I don't know how it's a narrative when you're just stating facts. So, if people don't see the situation we're in as something significant, well, there's nothing I can say to that. If they look at that list of players and say, well, that shouldn't make a difference, well, I really don't know how to answer that. So, I get that people, it kind of does, maybe the senses get dulled and people get bored, or, like I said, everyone wants a bit of drama, and that's not drama, that's just stating facts that we've been missing some really key players for a very long time, and we've had to deal with that. And whether people see that as significant or not, again, for me, if people think I'm here trying to create a story out of nothing, I don't know what to say to that. So. And as for other managers, mate, he's had his 5 minutes, so let's move on. I don't. He's had his 5 minutes, mate. That's good enough for me.
You also mentioned the semi-final. It seems the semi-finals are tricky, aren't they? Because you don't get a trip to Wembley if you lose. But it's the disappointment of losing it sort of wipes away the achievement of getting there. Is that what you're saying with?
Yeah, especially for the players, and I understand that because like I said, it was real disappointing. It's not like we were disappointing over both leagues. I think we played really well in the first leg and gave ourselves a chance last night, but we were one of only 4 teams left, so it would have been better if we got knocked out in the first round and we didn't play last night and had the night off and prepared for Villa on Sunday, and then maybe the noise around us wouldn't be. But I'd much rather be where we were last night, as painful as it was, giving ourselves a chance, and hopefully next time we get into that position, we'll handle it better.
Don, to finish, please.
And the injuries during this time, the last couple of months, it obviously impacts your enjoyment in the
job and it makes it less enjoyable because you've got fewer options. Can it get to a point though, does it get to a point where it actually becomes unenjoyable, your role as manager, with this unprecedented number of injuries? Can it get to the point where it's actually just not that enjoyable?
No, it never gets that, because the responsibility I have is not around me enjoying anything. My responsibility lies in trying to steer the club and guide the club, through this process to get us to where we want to. So it doesn't, it doesn't sort of dampen my determination or my will or desire to get us to where we want to. It's a challenge, but again, there's always challenges in football. There's always challenges in management. That doesn't change. But it's not like I woke up this morning and, to be fair, I didn't sleep, but it's not like I got up this morning and, didn't want to come in, came in early and I want to try and help everyone, players, staff, to make sure that we get ready for a big game on Sunday.
Does it go the other way? Is it extra fuel having those fewer players, or would you say also not to that either?
It's not about extra fuel. Again, I try and take out, because again, it's not about me. It's not about what I feel and what motivates me. It's about the players. They're the ones that have to go out there, and they're the ones that are at the moment. We're going through this really, tough period of asking a lot of a small group, and I don't want them to sense that somehow, how I feel or my emotions are priority in this. They're not. The priority is the players. How can I and the rest of the staff support the players, guide them, give them direction and feedback, so that we can, get through this and come out stronger.